Good morning, lovely people. So, Houston, we do have a problem. I did mess up quite badly. Let me explain. In the last video, you saw me connecting everything. Everything was working properly. However, after a day, I checked the voltage on the battery on the lithium and it was like 12.9 volts. So that means that the DC-DC charger is not charging. So I thought I blew the DC-DC charger and I thought I will need to get a new one. One of you in the previous videos commented something that was kind of my mistake and overlook. I'm not perfect, I'm just human, I make mistakes, and this was my mistake. The problem is, this charger, as I mentioned, it does have a separate ground for the inputs and the outputs. If by any chance, for some reason, you connect the ground from the lithium, that means the output, and the ground from the car, that is the chassis, this is gonna blow. And that's exactly what happened. One of you guys commented in the previous videos about two things that I overlooked. One of those things is this ESX monoblock, which was mounted to the chassis. I have riv nuts over there, and the output I was checking with the multimeter as well. The ground that's going into the amplifier is shared with the heatsink, and then it's being shared with the actual car. So the lithium ground was connected to the car's ground. The DC-DC didn't like it. The second one, somebody mentioned as well, is the coax cable that's going into the Helix DSP. Since coax has an RCA plug, this one, it does share a ground with everything. So the head unit ground and the Helix DSP ground was connected as well. So there's two problematic areas that were sharing ground where there's not supposed to. If this DC charger would be a normal, non-isolated, everything would be fine. I just needed a ground, a thicker ground from the lithium to go into the car. But now, since this is an isolated ground, whenever you connect input and output grounds, you either gonna blow the FETs or the isolation circuit. Luckily for me, this DC-DC charger had some built-in protection. It had fuses on the input side, on the, I don't know, positive probably. And the only thing was the fuses that blown. So thanks to ChatGPT, I opened it up, I checked the fuses, replaced the fuses, and now it's working. However, before I'm connecting everything, I need to sort out these problems. To sort out this problem, it's pretty easy. All I need is to make a little board out of wood that I can mount to the car, and then in different places, in different spots, I need to mount this amplifier to that wooden board. In that way, I'll have an insulating spacer between the car's ground and the amplifier heatsink. For this thing, I need to run a totally new optical cable. Luckily for me, I already have that cable. I just need to run it, and it's so crammed on that side. I hate running wires to the sides through the sills, but it has to be done. The problem might be that over coax, you can get, especially on this head unit, you can get 96K sampling rate, and on optical is limited to 48. I am not bothered by that at all. This is going to be a daily system. It does have a good amp, it does have a good DSP, and since this is the only limiting factor, I think for now it's going to be fine. Later on, maybe I'm going to figure something out. But for now, I just need to run an optical cable. After all of this is going to be done, I will connect everything back, and in this video, we'll be testing some stuff. So I do have a clamp, I do have a thermal camera. This battery is almost empty, it's like 12.8 volts, because when I realized in the middle of the week that it doesn't charge, I didn't charge it and I left it, and it was running my whole system cranked full tilt for 4 full days, this single one battery. and it still has juice inside. So this lithium is bloody awesome. So when we're going to connect everything, we're going to check how much. First of all, obviously the car, it was sitting overnight, so we will check with a clamp, because this clamp, I love it. I just bought it. It's a Finersi or whatever you call it. And what it has, if you go to, I don't know how to use it, to be honest. Do I hold this? There we go. It has a curve that shows you a spike, max amperage, and then it goes down. So with this, we will check how long does it take for the car alternator to charge the front battery after a cold start in the morning. And then we will know the time, how long it takes. And based on that time, we'll be able to set up that relay, the timer relay, that will allow to take all full 40 amps of this DC-DC charger. And then we're going to check again the voltage, the current draw on input, on the output. We're going to check what's going into the lithium. As well, with a thermal camera, we will check if all the wiring for the charging is adequate, because you can check it with a voltage drop. If the voltage drops, that means you have inadequate wiring. However, with a thermal camera, you will be able to see all the connections. If any of the connections is getting hot, like some of these, you will know that you have a either bad crimp or just a bad cable. So I think it's going to be fun. So enough talking. Let me sort that little board out. Let me run the optical cable and I will update you as I go. There we go. Little board like that. The screws are in the same original places there and there, and I made the screws for the amplifier a little bit higher so they wouldn't overlap. You can see there. And this one is flush mounted because this one goes into the actual frame. So this is flush mounted, and I put electrical tape so it's not gonna short against the back of the amplifier. And yeah, that should do it for the amplifier. Let me just mount it and see how it looks. Okay, the amplifier is mounted, so you can see it was pushed a little bit further, but I still have, I think I have enough space. So continuity, this is the ground chassis. This is one of the rev nuts. This is the bolt that goes from the board into the chassis. Yeah, it is, but however, this one, nothing. This, nothing. The ground from the amplifier is this one, nothing. So we don't have continuity. Everything is sorted. Now I need to put the DC-DC charger back and connect all the wires how it was before. Okay, everything in the back connected properly. Now is gonna be my first test. I wanna test how long does it take for the car to recharge the front battery fully, because this car was sitting for almost 2 days. When I came back after work, I left it. So now is the only way how I can put this one. So if we're gonna go to voltage, you can see the battery is 12.5 volts. So it is a bit drained, and this will give me my peak amperage and the current draw curve, so we will be able to see when it's gonna go down. I'm gonna turn on the engine, and then we will see how much we have peak draw and when it's dropping. Now the DC-DC charger is disconnected, so nothing is connected to the back because the lithium in the back is discharged as well. So I'm gonna give it 440 amps and we will see how the wires heat up or don't heat up. Okay, let's turn it on and let's see what happens. There we go. Okay, let's have a look. What is this thing doing? There we go. Climbing up. 12, 13 amps. Okay, so max amperage you can see was 206 amps. This was the pull from the battery into the starter. Now -11, it goes quite fast. 14.7, yeah, 14.73 the voltage, so the voltage is high. And to be fair, it's pretty much charged. is hovering about 10 amps. Yeah, basically 10 amps current draw. It doesn't draw literally anything, because with Insignia it was totally different. Maybe because Insignia had a bit older battery. With Insignia it took about 5 minutes, but to be honest, the engine was a bit bigger, so it took much more energy to crank it. Since this is a start-stop, just to start the engine, it doesn't really need anything apparently. So there you go. Okay, so 10 amps. Good stuff. Voltage 1473. So yeah, about 10 amps current. Doesn't change. Yeah, if it didn't go up, it's not gonna go up anymore. Now let's go to the back and check the lithium. Lithium in the back, nothing is still connected. I want to show you that the battery is 12.7 volts, so it is quite heavily discharged. Almost, for lithium, it's, I don't want to say it's almost empty, but it is empty. Let me connect the DC charger and we're gonna see the current draw. Okay, I connected the remote into the DC charger. Now let's turn it on. Click. What do we have? Here we go. 10 amps, 13, 20, 26, 30, 32, 35. Yeah, it's going up. Is it gonna do full 4? Yeah, 39 amps, 40. Spot on, exactly what it's supposed to do. Voltage is increasing, 12.99, 13 volts. Cool, so now it's gonna be drawing full 40 amps until this battery is gonna be fully charged. I think I set this to 14.4 volts, so it will be drawing this for quite a while. I would imagine probably an hour until it's gonna be fully charged, because it is almost a dead battery. So we do have full 40 amps, that's perfect. I wanna check when this DC charger is working full tilt. I want to see what's happening on the other side in the engine bay and how much we have current draw here. Okay, so now this is the input side, that stuff that goes into the DC charger, and we have 46 amps and a bit and 14 volts. So let's remember this, 14 volts and 46 amps. Let's go to the front. In the front we have 14.4 and 46. So the amperage is the same. The only thing we have 0.4 volts of a voltage drop between the front and the back. So this 0.4 of a volt basically drops just because of the length of the wire. At the moment I do have a 2-gauge wire, so it is quite thick, and 0.4 of a volt, I don't know, but the amperage we know that's maximum that is drawn is 46 amps. So now I'm gonna leave the engine on. I'm gonna leave this battery to charge for about 15-20 minutes, and I will come back with a infrared camera to check if anything gets hot anywhere. Okay, so let's check on the progress. It's about 10-15 minutes, so everything kind of stabilized. So now what we have from all of this, obviously the amplifiers are off because the DSP shut them down because of the sleep mode. The DSP itself is 23, the ambient temperature about 17 degrees, so it is a chilly day. Okay, so we have 22 degrees the DSP, everything else is the same. Now on this side, what do we have? All of these, so this, everything is cold. We have the fuse, this little fuse, no, cold. The wire 22 cold, everything there's cold. So we can see that the battery is getting warm on one side, where the positive is. We're still drawing 40 amps, it's 13.2 volts, and the battery is getting warm just here. Very interesting to see that. All of this, all the other side of the battery is cold. Now these wires, yes, they are warm. We have 26, 27 and 27 here, so but it's not that much. However, you can see that the cable itself is 20 and this connection, but it is still very good temperature. But the connections are always the weakest link in the current delivery. Connections will always be hotter than everything else. The DC charger is fine, 27, Same, here we have a bit of heat that's coming inside. Now we can see this. Interestingly, let me just check. Okay, so I don't feel the heat, and it might be that is just the metal that is reflecting and not actually heat around this connection here in the middle. However, this, you can see it does heat up 44 degrees. So this is the circuit breaker. Yes, it does heat up 44. Can I feel it? Yeah, it is a bit warm. So this, if you remember, it draws about 45 amps. So it is warm, but it's not hot, and it doesn't get any hotter. Everything else from this side is fine. Let's go check the engine. How are we doing in the engine bay? Okay, so you can see engine is warm. Cover is, see, 22 degrees, the cover. So it's very efficient engine. It doesn't heat up. And that's what I meant when I was doing this, that it's not going to affect the dead end that much. We see the coolant going because it is already warm. We can see this black pipe. I think this is an AC pipe that it doesn't work, but it's still cold, 5 degrees only. Now, electrical stuff. The battery is fine. The connections are fine. This thing heats up a little bit, especially here at the bottom. This is exactly what I wanted to check. So, oh, 50. Ow, okay. So this runs quite hot, to be honest. Like 40. This circuit breaker is rated 120 amps, and it is hot by running half of that. So I don't know if it's normal, but you can see, yeah, it is hot. It's 50 degrees. So I don't know, maybe we'll need to investigate. Maybe we're gonna put a normal fuse instead of the circuit breaker, but there you go. That's why I'm doing this, just to figure it out. The ground is fine. This, so this, the smaller one, this is the red positive that is going from the battery into the fuse box, and that glowing wire, that's the ground. So I would imagine this is the ground cable that is grounded to the chassis or whatever, and all 45 amps that going into the back going through that ground cable. So I will need to upgrade it. How much is it? It's not much, like 30 degrees, but still you can see, yeah, it's glowing. It is much warmer than the positive wire and than anything else, so I will need to upgrade it. One thing, what is this? This is a little fuse box. Let me remove it. What is here? What is this? 60, 70 degrees. What is that? This is all hot. This is a relay, I think. Okay, so this is this 645. I think it's a relay. Why is it that hot? Like, I would be surprised if that would be my relay for the AC that is not working. I will need to investigate that, but everything else is kind of okay. So yeah, still 40 amps, 13.3, so it's gonna go until 14.4, which is perfect. I'm gonna leave it to charge a little bit, but yeah, so from all of this that I did now, nothing really needs changing or investigating. This one warms up a little bit, but it's still fine, and it's not going to draw 40 amps all the time because the battery is not going to be that empty all the time. If it's going to draw like 40 amps for 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's fine. That connection is fine. It does warm up a little bit, but it's not an issue. The only thing that I need to investigate is this black ground cable that will need... So because basically I didn't do a big 3 on this car. So I think it would benefit from a big 3, and this bloody relay. I really need to look into that. That voltage drop is a bit bugging me. 0.4 volts is way too much than it's supposed to be. So instead of checking the temperature or the ohm reading, I'm gonna actually try to measure the voltage drop. I have this multimeter, which is a true RMS multimeter, and it's supposed to be very, very precise, good quality thing. and I need to measure the voltage drop under load. And you do that by connecting one lead to where your power source is. So for example, here. And then if I'm going to touch here, I'm going to measure the voltage drop across this wire. If I'm going to measure here, I will have the voltage drop that is caused by the actual circuit breaker. And I do exactly the same in the back. However, I need to do this under load. So let me turn on the engine. Okay, engine is on, the DC-DC charger is working, 40 amps. Let's have a look at the voltage, what's happening before and after. So now we have here 1455. If I'm gonna measure here, so this is a voltage drop of almost 0.2 volts just because of this thing. Let me try before this connector. There we go. So the wire, 0.02 volts. So 0.15 is caused by that thing alone. And I guarantee we're gonna have exactly the same in the back with this one. So before and after, 0.06. Okay, let's do the math. 0.17 in the front minus 0.02, which is the actual wire, 0.15, and we have in the back 0.06. So combined we have 0.21 volts dropped just because of these circuit breakers. If you would replace circuit breakers with the fuses, the voltage drop would be probably 0.02 something, very, very low. So now we know that my voltage drop is caused not by inadequate grounding or wires, but just because I'm using these circuit breakers, and that voltage drop comes out as heat that we did pick up with the thermal camera. So it is not an issue in my case. I'm drawing only 40 amps. If you would be drawing 200, 250 amps, then those losses would be quite significant. And obviously the heat would be much more. But in my case, because this battery is going to be charging not at 40 amps full time, not all the time, I'm gonna keep them just for simplicity, just because it's much easier for me to push a button and disconnect everything rather than fiddle with fuses like that, because you need a key and everything. Anything happens, I just push it and everything is disconnected. So in this video, we fixed an issue with the DC-DC charger, and afterwards we double checked how the system works and performs. We found an issue with a voltage drop, and we figured it out by measuring the voltage drop, because you can measure the resistance, but it's very difficult because these cheap multimeters, they don't go into like milliohms, because this resistance is literally 100th of an ohm, so you won't be able to measure it. However, voltage drop, you can measure that. So now, happy days, everything is working, everything as it should be. I'm gonna leave everything as it is for now, because it's not gonna cause me any problems. Even if I'm gonna lose something, it's not an issue if we're looking at the big picture. That's it. Thank you for sticking till the end. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.